Hi viewers, my name is Martin Caballero. I'm the assistant editor at BevNET, and I'm here in San Francisco, California for the Winter Fancy Food Show 2019. In just a minute, I'm going to sit down with Greg Steltenpohl and Brian Lovejoy of Califia Farms, and we're going to talk a little bit about the release of the new Oat Milk Barista Blend line, as well as the forthcoming opening of Califia's downtown Los Angeles roasting facility. I'm really pleased to be joined by Greg Steltenpohl, the CEO and co-founder of Califia Farms, a brand that we know well. How's it going, Greg?
Great, Martin. Good to be here. Another exciting Fancy Food West.
Another trade show. Yeah, I have to check what year it is and where we are and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going well for you so far?
Yes, it is. And this is, of course, our launch of our oat platform. And particularly today, we're sampling out the Oat Barista Blend and just having a fantastic time sharing it with people.
That's great. Well, I mean, let's get right into it. I mean, Oat Milk or Oat Barista Blend is obviously the product that you're kind of sharing here. Before we get into the product itself, I just want to get your thoughts. I mean, you work with so many, you have a lot of experience with plant-based milks and non-dairy items. Why do you think oat milk has gotten such a response and resonated with so many consumers in the past year or so?
Well, first of all, the oat category has been around for a while, and it's like any other ingredient-based launch. A lot of it is just timing and readiness. You never know. It's a mysterious mix of factors in society, but I think undercurrent behind all of it is just the incredible growth and diversity of the specialty coffee industry itself has created a new group of aficionados who are really looking, at what really does pair best with coffee. And I give a lot of kudos to, the Oatly brand. When they launched, they focused on that as a kind of singular point and, did some great awareness building for it. And in a way, kicked the barn door open. And now there's a flood of demand in this category that is just really got a lot of people excited about it, beyond coffee even.
Do you think there would be an oat milk category without coffee? Are those two linked sort of intrinsically?
Well, it's hard to tell all that from data so far because it's growing off a super small base. And of course, for Califia, the almond platform we have grew over 40% this year in MULO, which is conventional grocery retail. So there's one thing to keep in mind around, trend-driven conversations is that what gets really exciting for people who are obsessed with what's coming next sometimes looks bigger than, a mass kind of data set. So we're obviously excited about it because we're a pioneering company and even, but here we weren't necessarily first, although Brian and I have been making oat beverages since 1995. Back in the day at Odwalla, we had a future shake that was based on oat, so we love it. It's, I think, going to be a critical component of plant-based beverages going forward. As to whether just a pure commodity-based call out for it to the consumer in grocery will really resonate yet because, in a way the industry has first showed them soy milk and then, almond and then cashew and then coconut and now oat, and after a while as a consumer sometimes, you say, okay, well, what's really better? But we really do think there's lots of fundamentals about it that are important. It's completely allergen-free, and not that a lot of people have almond allergens. It's not heavy like peanut, but still, for some people, it's nice to know that it's 100% allergen-free. Our particular oat is also gluten-free, which not all oats are. So it's a gluten-free product. And then we use a whole grain approach, which in contrast to some oat companies where they're kind of breaking apart the oat into several components, some of them that have more carbohydrates and sugar. And we have a very low sugar, it's only 4 grams of sugar. And that sugar is not added, it's just part of what comes with the oat. So if you're not going to be first, you got to bring something better, and that's kind of the foundation for why Califia does anything.
Absolutely, and we've seen with in almond milks and the other products you guys have done, sort of expanding, into different use occasions and sort of showing different ways to use this. Are we going to? This is obviously the Barista Blend, but are we going to see the same kind of thing with oats as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're also launching a 48-ounce carafe that's in our signature package in the curvy bottle, and that package is the most placed item we have. So the company produces over 70 products, but our core almond and plant milk line is the one that's most visible to the consumer. So we're going to have a oat offering there, and that's what serves a different usage occasion. So people put that on cereal, people look at that as a smoothie ingredient, and the taste of oat is not, I think, always for everybody, and that's why we think being a total diverse plant-based company is kind of important for us. But trust building and being able to have the consumer say you're going to try this and you're not going to be disappointed is something that Califia also brings to the table, I think.
And we were talking about coffee and the association with oat milk, obviously, earlier. Are we going to see oat milk become a part of the RTD coffee portfolio in the similar way that almond milk is?
Well, we're looking at that. I think this product, as far as combining with a hot coffee, for the rosettes and the foam characteristics are some of the best of any product I've ever had in my life, and certainly in our portfolio. So there's a true performance reason. Blending it with cold coffee drinks could be really important, but for right now, we want to just make sure we can keep up with the demand that's been created, and there's some holes in the market now that are super critical, and people are disappointed because everyone got excited about it, and there's not enough to go around right now. So
yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. I mean, how have you tackled some of the shortage issues that we've seen brands in this category deal with, and as a company, how do you sort of respond to that?
Well, hey, I've been through it. Califia had trouble keeping up a few years ago, and anyone that's been around for a while has probably gone through something like that. That's a good problem, right? But also, products have their moments, and right now, oats having a moment, and it's really important that the industry, the category, builders be able to keep up with it. So we're happy that we have a steady, reliable supply chain. We delayed a year getting into it so we could make sure that we were going to be there for folks, and reliability is an important part of making sure retailers can make that commitment by switching into it.
Well, I want to touch a little bit about product launches. I mean, last year was the launch of the non-dairy yogurt. I know that was really successful for you guys. What are some of the things you're working on in sort of developing the brand, expanding the brand?
Well, like we talked to you guys last time about the yogurt launch, and at the time we launched it, obviously we didn't know, how it was going to work, and it's turned out to be the most successful in terms of speed to market, not just to get there, but actually to get a rollout. So we have over 23,000 points of distribution now, and that's in less than a year. So super stoked about that. It took us, when we launched Better Half, it took us 2 years to get there.
Greg, thank you so much for joining us. It's always great to catch up with you. We're going to catch up with Brian now and talk a little bit more about the roastery in LA.
Okay, man. Great talking to you, Martin, and always good questions. Thank you.
Next up, we have Brian Lovejoy, the GM Coffee at Califia Farms. He's joining us to talk a little bit about the downtown LA roastery, which opened recently. Brian, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for talking to us about this. We're excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've heard a lot about I haven't had a chance to visit yet. I hope to, but I've heard a lot of information about the facility and the roastery. Can you just give us a top-level sort of perspective on how this fits into Califia Farms' growth plans?
Sure. Long-term, we've been looking at completely vertically integrating our supply chain, and that means a green bean buying platform and also roasting in-house. So the roastery in downtown LA will give us enough scale to be able to do all of our coffee roasting in-house.
And how is that going to sort of fit in with Califia's R&D, product development pipeline?
Well, part of the reason for putting the roastery where we have it is so our consumers and our buyers, our retail buyers, can come and see the roasting process live in a metropolitan setting, and that's kind of a rare opportunity to show the one of the most important parts of the supply chain, which is roasting. So having it downtown Los Angeles, people come and visit and can actually see the live roasting happening.
So kind of bringing people closer to the coffee experience.
Oh, absolutely. People are too disconnected from their food, so the more parts of the food system we can show them, the more connected they become with our brand and also where their food comes from, and ultimately that comes from the farm.
And I wanted to quickly just ask you about this sort of the state of the specialty coffee market. There's been a lot of concern, it seems like, in the industry over the sustainability of some of the pricing and just sort of the way the market's going. Would love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, we're very concerned with the state of coffee. Is coffee sustainable? In many countries, farmers aren't able to get enough for their coffee even to pay their production costs. So we've got a couple of initiatives in place, one starting in Colombia where we're going down and measuring the cost of growing coffee, the cost of school fees, the cost of food security, and that kind of thing. So it all starts with what is a sustainable price for coffee. It's not the C price for coffee. It's not even necessarily fair trade, because often even fair trade coffee is below the cost of production. So it starts by measuring what is a sustainable price, because I don't think anybody today can actually answer that. And obviously it's going to be different from Uganda to Colombia to El Salvador. We're starting with Colombia, and then we'll move into our other supply chains. And right now, even though we don't know for sure whether it's a sustainable price for coffee, we're paying 75% farm gate, which means every dollar we pay for coffee, 75% of it actually goes to the farmer. So this is beyond exporter and importer and everything else. So I think it's the highest in the industry.
Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
it's
my
always
pleasure.
great seeing you, and I'll see you next time.
Great, thank you.